champion when he's given the opportunity. Even though they lost that game one, definitely was a force to be reckoned with. They just didn't really hit that early game win condition. So now over to Weibo. Feels like with this many 80 carry bans,
gotta be Lee Sin, right?
Yeah, gotta be Lee Sin. With this many 80 carry bans, it has to kind of be the aphelios. So denying that Lee Sin away from Tarzan again. We did see in that game one that he went for the Diana Renekton here. I don't expect that to happen again. There's plenty of junglers you can pick up. There's the likes of the Xin Zhao, there's the Hecarim still available. Lots of tools still available, but the Ryze is something that is open. And this is kind of not the sort of pick you want to give over Doinb, right? This is kind of signature roam to side lane style. Very strong in the current meta, often banned in fierce rotation.
Yep, Doinb Ryze CS hack locked in here. He's got an entire copy pasta named after this pick on him. And even on the Renekton, more than 10 CS per minute. Just imagine what we can do with Ryze in his hands here. But Tarzan likely to go for the Xin Zhao. This is something that has been banned throughout the series. But actually, away and perhaps going for a bit of protection on that bottom side instead with the Tahm Kench for LvMao.
Yeah, so having that pick that can sort of protect your immobile carries quite effectively, particularly for the Jinx, it's been a really powerful combo to keep us safe. I love the Orianna here, though. Something that can contest the priority against the Ryze. And also, scales exceptionally, right? You have the aphelios, who's going to be able to step up with the Orianna shield and just be so much more comfortable with that to back you up now. Weibo, I feel like you can target junglers. That Xin Zhao we saw before can definitely get taken off the cards. Plenty the Hecarim as well would be a decent one. And for the side of LNG, really looking at the support pool, we haven't really seen too much Enchanter priority at all, but I feel like, you know, something like Orianna, something like Lulu, sorry, even actually could serve well. But based on what these players are playing, probably like the Nautilus is going to come out as a ban, maybe the Leona as well, maybe even the Rakan. Either way, you could also look top lane, right? Because Weibo, they can either pick something for the TheShy or have counter pick for him, which can be very threatening.
So the Thresh taken off the board, that protection in that bottom lane. Still things like the Braum, if they really want to go down the protection route for On, but I think they're much more likely to just go with something like a Nautilus, maybe a Leona, one of these hard engaged supports that has been the go-to for On. And we saw last game, On is certainly not afraid of starting a fight on that Leona if you lock it in for him. Many times he was perhaps a little overzealous on starting those fights. With the Hecarim that you predicted banned away here from Tarzan, we'll have to see something else coming out. I want to see Tarzan Zac, man. It's been a while since we've seen it. I don't think we will, but that's my favorite Tarzan pick that we've seen.
I think Zac is okay right now in the current meta. I think we'd probably see him more when we have the bruise item nerfs. Like, we see a lot more tank junglers then, but I don't think he's awful. But probably not here. I digress. Would be fun. But gonna see the Jace banned away from the TheShy, so not want something that is pretty solid as a blind in the top lane. I kind of expect just a support pick to come out here for them. You know, there's been such an emphasis on the Nautilus recently, but I think specifically into the Tahm Kench Rakan. Not only can you set up the engage with the Orianna ball, but also AoE CC is a lot more effective against Tahm than the Nautilus' single target, because obviously he can eat his AD carry out of that. Now, for LNG, the top lane, you know, we've seen a variety of things coming as like the stable blind. Kennen has been something that 369 has lent on heavily, but Ale also a fan of it. You also have the likes of the Graves, which is good. Tarzan, we actually love to see the Ryze Volibear combo mid jungle. This was super heavy roam to sides, right? You have the dive potential of the volley, cancels the tower, the realm warp from the Ryze. Very effective snowball in the game.
Let's see if this Renekton will be locked in or not. Ale has to blind pick up in the top side. It's not fun for any top laner, but especially when you're up against someone like TheShy, it's dangerous to go for that blind pick. But the Kennen will be the decision. TheShy immediately hovering that Gnar. It has been a very safe pick for him, and it's been one of his favorite picks of the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it started making a bit of a resurgence recently, right? Feels like it was sort of overlooked for a lot of the early part of the season, but people are picking up a lot more. Does decent into a range of tops, and obviously scales very well into the team fights. Mega super powerful. So it wouldn't be too amiss to pick it here. But I feel like for me, LNG, they have the Ryze with Doinb, they have Tarzan on that Volibear. If they manage to pull off the side lane leans, the dives, bot, or top, I feel like it's very easy for them to look to snowball this game. And that momentum, if you give gold to a Kennen, if you give gold to a Jinx, will serve you absolutely excellently.
Yeah, getting the gold into the side lanes is going to be the name of the game here. But whether or not they can make it happen, that's the big question. Angel on this Orianna, I'm curious to see how he's going to do. Obviously, can contest the push versus that Ryze, but does not have that same ability to influence the rest of the map with the ultimate, right? You do rely much more on moving at the right time as opposed to Ryze being able to just realm warp over. We'll see, though. Lee Sin versus Volibear as well. SofM back on this Lee Sin, right? This has been such a prolific pick for SofM, not just in this series, but across his entire career. Tarzan with this Volibear feels like a bit of a pocket pick for Tarzan at the minute. We saw it recently as well, and to great effect.
100%. And I just love the synergy. I love the way it works with the Ryze, right? Because it just makes it so difficult to play side. And both of these side laners are actually kind of vulnerable, right? Gnar is very vulnerable when he's mini, and you have to point and click CC from either the Volibear or the Ryze. And in the bot lane, Rakan, you know, he's not as tanky and disruptive as the Leon and the Nautilus pre-6, and very squishy, easy just to burst out if you can lock him down. So I really feel like LNG, they have the tools in this game to dictate things, but we have seen SofM absolutely pop off on the Lee Sin. And again, if you get the Orianna into the later stages comfortably, Orianna and aphelios, a very powerful combo in those team fights.
Certainly are. Weibo versus LNG, game number 3. The fight for first place in the LPL, and TheShy face checks into Allah, gets hit by a bit of a sky splitter there as well. Will be forced away for the second game in a row, just getting massively chunked out. Allah doing his best to try and finish this kill off. He won't be able to do it though.
Kind of close though.
Takes a tower shot. Good effort, mate. As SofM, what are you doing? That's not the play. Walks in and has to W back out as Angel moved over.
Yeah, I think he was trying to just punish Kennen. Kennen overstayed, but LNG smartly moved members up to cover just in case. Sometimes you see top laners going for this heavy 1v1 trades when they're isolated. By the way, SofM have to start the W, so marginally slower clear on the back of this than if he had started his Q, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Lee Sin can really start clearing with the W quite fine. Obviously, the cooldown's so short that you get your passive proccing more and more.
Let's be honest, the passive is the only thing you need for Lee Sin on your first ability for clearing, especially if you get a leash. But he's going to be leashless on that top side, so Tarzan maybe has a bit of an advantage. And also, Volibear pretty damn quick at clearing regardless, so Tarzan should be able to do well there. And I am curious to look at these junglers as they both move towards that bottom side, whether or not we get some influence in that bottom lane in the 2v2, whether we get jungle intervention.
Yeah, and I think maybe, I mean, the Tarzan can definitely impact the map early, right? As can Lee Sin. Like, the ganks are pretty strong, particularly if you show up top. I think bot might be a bit trickier to gank. There's not too great setup on a Tahm Kench, but I'm really looking at that level 6 point for LNG. I think that's really where they're going to spike with mid jungle, both of them having their ultimates available. I think SofM can find an angle before them, but TheShy is in trouble.
TheShy is in big trouble here, looking for the passive from Allah. Gets the stun coming on through. One more hit would do the trick. He's not quite got it though. Having the E and the W, so no lightning shuriken, thundering shuriken to be able to come through and finish the kill. Level 2 in the bottom lane, as well as LNG finding spikes across the map. Angel stunned up, and Doinb here. Tarzan with first blood.
Really nice gank. You burn the flash from Angel. You put him a little bit behind. And critically, if you get control of mid, it makes those roams so much easier. Engage coming in.
Double knockup from LvMao. Just got the MVP, and he wants another one as well. LNG bodying all 3 lanes, and we saw this last game the other way around. SofM smites his Gromp as Tarzan moves over with Doinb. They want to go for a dive here. They want to get underneath this tower. On has to find the ultimate knockup here, but he's rooted and just will get finished off. Tarzan stands in front of everyone, blocking a lot of damage, but now LvMao's in trouble. A great sonic wave from SofM, and Weibo trying to turn things around. The Calibrim is beautiful. Double for SofM, double for Huanfeng. The double causing trouble for LNG.
And what an overcommit from LNG. I'm ready to sing their praises. Top lane's winning. They get a kill mid. They burn someone's bot. And then they're like, you know what? Let's dive 4v3 at level 3 in the game.
TheShy still has flash. So does Allah. This could go either way right now. TheShy playing really aggressive. They can't find the kill, though. Allah will just have to reset.
And it's just... I mean... Let's go over this. I mean, the first kill onto On is pretty good. They lock him down, don't really give him an opportunity to do anything. But then they overcommit so heavily. Tarzan takes a tower hit. Doinb is already taking tower hits, so he's low. Everyone's just getting absolutely massacred. And SofM's untouched this whole time. He's just dipping around, cleaning up kills so easily. And now he's mega fed. Huanfeng's mega fed. And remember how at the start I was saying, you know, LNG spike at level 6? I should have said that a little bit louder because they thought they spiked at level 3 and it completely backfired.
Yeah, bit of a disaster. It started off well, but as you say, just completely overcommitting. And SofM, great Sonic Wave there. Finds an opportunity on the bottom side of the fight, denies that exit route from LNG, and so they all get corralled into the tri-brush. Finished off with Angel. No flash in that mid lane, remember. Does need to be a little bit cautious of a gank from Tarzan, but SofM, currently 2-0-2, with a CS lead as well, is feeling pretty strong right now. Already with the Iron Spike whip, this Lee Sin has the ability to completely take over.
Absolutely spiked so hard, and that can cause a lot of issues, right? If you're not able to pull off these side lane dives, I feel like, you know, the Volibear does fall off in the late stages, as does Lee Sin, obviously, but I feel like that's really where you get so much value. That's why you're drafting this. We saw that in their series against RNG. LNG ran the same mid-jungle combo there to great effect. But the thing is they made those side lane ganks work, and they're not going to be as easy to pull off if you are significantly far behind. So, still hope yet. Gold lead isn't too substantial, but it's just this Lee Sin, already scary, and also Huanfeng on this aphelios, already a big threat. And the thing is, you'll hit that Gale Force far before Light gets his mythic.
Big trades on this top side now. Ella low on HP, but so is TheShy, and he's not even close to Gnar. Forced away, both of them pots ticking, but TheShy surely has to reset off the back of this one. Oh wait, Doinb might not let him. Recalling in the brush. He was spotted by the Scuttle Crab. TheShy just gonna walk all the way away. He knows he cannot stick around here.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's a great lean from Doinb, right? Because it forces TheShy off. He doesn't even have to actually do anything. He just resets. But look at this advantage being built up. And remember, TheShy picked the Gnar into the Kennen, right? He chose this matchup for himself. And is honestly just getting bodied, which is good to see from Ale. But we'll have to hold that thought. Looking for the Dragon contest.
2 in a row here from Ale, but now the Dragon. Smite comes on through. Huanfeng picks it up. Double knuckle coming out from On. And this is beautiful from Weibo. Starting off as they mean to go on. Doinb falls, as does Tarzan. And LvMao, he'll dive his way to safety in a second. Actually has to flash. It was on cooldown. And another fight win for Weibo as well as the Drake.
Yeah, they just realm warp in, right? They commit to a play. Instantly Orianna shockwave. On follows up with a knockup. It just, I don't know, man. That's perfect setup for Weibo. Feels like LNG are playing right into the hands.
It really does. Honestly, this feels like game number 2, just the other way around, where LNG over-committing to these plays. Tarzan joins Doinb, the shockwave into the grand entrance. It's just gorgeous to see.
Yeah, and the Inferno as well for Huanfeng has the AoE damage. And if you think about the fact that obviously they both took the shockwave, right? And they took the knockup. Light wasn't there, and they still nearly killed 2 of them. It's kind of disappointing. Like, LNG's composition has tools to make this work, but the setups have been repeatedly so bad, and we're only 7 minutes into the game. I shouldn't be saying repeatedly bad 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to. You shouldn't need to, but On moving up to this top side now. Ale legging it. He's trying to get out of there ASAP. The Hyper will be procced, and that's actually a flash from Ale. He goes in! Ale is absolutely insane! I feel like he could have escaped.
He could have. He went a little bit the wrong direction there, right? And the Guardian from On as well means chances of turning around that kill extremely low. Man, LNG, what happened between team 2? Yeah.
I mean, I know Ale likes to flip the coin a little bit, but there was no heads available there. That was a double-tailed coin.
And now, you know, he built up that massive CS lead in the top lane. They are even in farm. Like, and with TheShy having assist, he's ahead. So, top, you had a lead, you threw it away. Mid jungle, you got a gank, you threw that lead away. Bot lane, I don't even blame Light for this. It's not his fault, but Huanfeng is now 3-0-2. This is just disaster. And level 6 has been hit for Tarzan and Doinb, but I think it's so hard to actually pull off a play because you're so far behind right now already. 2,000 gold lead, the difference are only 8 minutes into the game. That's so substantial.
It's absolutely huge. As we'll start to see mythics coming through for a couple of our carries here, like Huanfeng close to his boots, close to his mythic as well, whereas it's just the Noon Quiver for Light. TheShy continuing to bully now up in this top side. He's got you know, he's managed to close that CS gap that we started to see building up for Allah off the back of that play. It was such a huge amount of minions that Allah ended up missing out on. And Tarzan, you know, we picked this Volibear in the hopes that he was... Well, we didn't pick it. I don't know why I said that. He picked this Volibear in the hopes that he could influence these lanes. He is so far down in this jungle matchup, it's not even funny.
And it's what we talked about at the start of the day. LNG often struggle if Tarzan can't get things rolling in the early game. Really rely on him to snowball these plays and get things done in their favor. And, you know, definitely a thing here, but I feel like the whole team's just struggling right now. They're still in it, absolutely, but this big discrepancy is going to take time before they can sort of avoid it. I do think, though, potentially finding an area where they have a numbers advantage, right? Leaning to one side using the Realm Orb, still a possibility. It's just harder than it was before.
So I want to talk about the other side of this scoreboard, right? Because we're being kind of negative talking about LNG, but let's talk about Weibo, because they are doing everything beautifully right now. They're answering every single play that LNG makes. They're all completely on the same page. It feels like a totally different Weibo to what we saw in game number 2. Well, actually, to be fair, they're on the same page. They were just doing kind of silly plays. But now they're in a position to put their front foot forward, right? SofM in a great spot as LvMao will be knocked up here by On. The Calibrum available as well. Damage just coming out endlessly from Huanfeng, but Tarzan trying to get onto this AD carry. The cleanse onto the stun though. And Huanfeng's like, all right, 1v1, no worries. I can take on a bear. I've got a gun. They're super effective. LvMao will walk away though. Tarzan has saved his support's life.
Still very, very messy and scrappy, right? Yes, no one from LNG goes down, but they were trying to look for that positive play. And the difference between if they had a lead, you'd have Doinb just pushing in the mid wave, they'd go down, Realm Warp, dive, job done. But it feels so tentative, hesitating on the play. And LvMao, very lucky to get out of that alive.
Yeah, LvMao does walk away. I mean, partly just that is the Tahm Kench, right? You are so tanky even without items. But SofM now looking towards this bottom side, but his bot lane has reset, so not much of an opportunity there. Drake coming up in 10 seconds, and with it being a Cloud Drake for the second Drake of the game, that means it will be another valuable soul. We have not seen a single Cloud soul today, and I'm over the moon about that one, to be honest. We could have another Hextech soul.
Man, I love Hextech Soul so much. I love the map as well. So honestly, bring it on. I feel like Weibo, you're significantly far ahead. You should look to stack these dragons up, because as much as, you know, LNG, we said they had these great early win cons, they still have the strength in their silence, right? And we saw this in game 1 where the mid jungle was the Diana Renekton. Kind of botched it, and then it came down to, you know, Ole on the Jace and Light on the Jinx again, really to deliver in the later stages. So that's still a possibility in this game. But I want Weibo to really stack up as many advantages as possible now when they have a big sizable lead.
TheShy starting to really put pressure on in this side lane as well. The early struggles he was having, they are long since forgotten. On, I don't know about that blast count, but he has to use the quickness just to try and keep himself safe here. And he has damn quick as he jumps over with the battle dance. Shockwave onto Doinb. Nice bit of teamwork there from Angel and On to keep the support safe. I think On must have misclicked slightly there and stood on the wrong side of the blast cone.
Well, I think he was ready to jump out again with his W, right? That's the thing with the con. You can play so aggressive and confidently, but Tarzan interrupted his W with the stun. So suddenly he was like, oh, I actually don't have a way out. So you have to make the big run around to get the dash over to Angel. Doesn't get punished though. That's the main thing, right? Only has to burn his ultimate. Do you see Huanfeng has to be a little bit careful though, but he does have vision, right? So he should know that he's in danger.
He wants that plate so bad. He wants it so bad. He might overstep for it though. Tarzan and LvMao threatening. He realizes he just has to back away. But the plate didn't go down to the minions, crucially. So it's still available for him. He didn't lose anything off of this. And with 3 people still in that bottom lane, it's a chance for Weibo. A great kick on to Doinb. The follow-up is there. And that's a solo kill. He doesn't even need Angel. His SofM just swings into the mid lane and boots Doinb in the face.
Yeah, that is a Fed Lee Sin, able to easily burst on Doinb, and SofM still finding favor in this game. I remember something we talked about earlier as well, the advantage between AD carries. Huanfeng already has a Gale Force this early in the game. Like, the amount of damage that offers and the extra mobility tool is so hard to deal with when you're taking fights. You actually have the Kraken Slayer coming in for light, so wasn't actually that far behind on it. You see Angel will get the reward of those plates in the mid lane. Won't take the full tower, but I do like to play, right? I said I want to see this team accelerating.
Oh no,
oh, my
this
Lord.
is what we usually see on the other side of the map to the Herald when the aphelios is in the game, right? They go for the tower instead. We're seeing that at the same time, and also TheShy getting placed on the top side. This lead is only getting worse for LNG. Everything seems to be snowballing out of control. Every single lane is losing badly at this point. And the LNG from game number 2, it feels like a long and distant memory.
Yeah, it is looking really rough. And I mean, especially just the fact that we had good win cons. I actually really liked the composition for LNG, and they just fumbled it. And it's like, as you said, like game 2, but flipped, right? Plays that weren't necessary, over aggressive, over forced. And now I feel like the referee isn't really going to be here for a while, because TheShy also now has Hullbreaker. Kennen just typically doesn't like holding sort of split pushes in the side lane. The Hullbreaker just makes his life a pain. It's so hard to take down those buffed up cannon minions as an AP champion.
It really is. And TheShy, I mean, he loves to be at the side lane. This is TheShy's bread and butter. This is one of the things that he built his career off of, pressuring the side lane and just being better than his opponents, right? Being better in that 1v1, the Hullbreaker, the perfect item for exactly that, especially on a bully like Gnar. But now, Mythics pretty much across the board for Weibo, or at least for those who wanted to build a Mythic as their first item. SofM moving in the mid lane. Doinb needs to be a little cautious. Angel doesn't have too much damage just yet. Light being found in the bottom side. That's a Moonlight Vigil and the Calibrum to follow, but Huanfeng doesn't have the damage to finish the kill off just yet. Gale Force keeps him safe as LNG all group up to defend the bottom lane. Now an engage as Tarzan goes forward. The rocket flashed by Huanfeng, but he might go down anyway. Tarzan trying to finish this kill and will do so. Smites him down. And a Rune Prism onto on. That looks real funky. He must have made it over. Bit of a spectator bug on that one. Weibo get out with most of their lives as SofM just goes back in. This man has no fear. He is not afraid of Tarzan by any means. And now he's moving towards the bottom lane. I don't know, SofM, man, he's on a different page to most people, I think.
And this whole play was going on, right? We saw Arlen move mid to defend the tower. TheShy's just been top, and he's taking this tier 2. No response coming in. This is a lot of gold into his pocket. Man, things looking dire. We'll get a replay so we can take a look, and, you know, a bit of an overambitious engage. The critical thing is there isn't really any follow-up, and Huanfeng doesn't want to overcommit too hard because he's tanking tower. So a lot burnt here, and as a result, LNG start to move down to respond. Tarzan just charges straight off Huanfeng, able to take him out, even though obviously the ult doesn't connect. So able to get a good punish. And it is a lot of gold, but unfortunately it's on your Volibear. And at this point, your Volibear is just building tank. You're not caring too much about him getting resources compared to other members. In the ideal world, you would have hit him with that Super Mega Death Rocket. Super Mega Death Rocket?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
it. I don't know why I always get it.
Folks. Believe in yourself. Man.
Believe in me, yeah. You know what? That's what LNG need to do. They just need to believe in themselves.
Look, the power of friendship for Magic, man. It worked for WE. Why can't it work for LNG, you know? We're going to 1v1 in the Herald Pit. Tarzan wins it because he's got Smite. But now TheShy maybe can get a kill off the back of it. LvMao's moved over. SofM here as well. And TheShy has pretty much just given them that on a platter. But look at the bottom of your screen. Doinb in trouble right now. So they're trying to go for a dive, but can't make it happen. And actually, LNG winning this trade globally.
Yeah, doing pretty good. And the thing is, objective bounties are available for them to cash in on. Problem is, they're dragging the Hex Tech. Going to be hard to approach this. Aleph tries to punish on, but I just don't really think they find a window in on this one.
Oh, SofM just used his Q onto LvMao. Might have to ward jump over, but he comes back available. Nobody even hitting him. I don't know how he managed to just not take damage for so long there against 3 people. Drake will be stolen by Light. What a rocket coming on through, buying LNG another 5 minutes of safety.
You know, I'm just going to say, right, is we've had so many questionable Jinx ults today. That one was a good Jinx ult. That was one that delivered. The objective bounty as well, so you get the icing on the cake on top of it. Yeah, and we're going to replay that. Let's have some fun. I feel like in this situation, it's kind of tricky to prevent this, but they should have pulled it out and had someone body block, right? They're just doing it straight in the middle of the pit. Just overconfident, honestly, and a little bit disrespectful, but they're still ahead. Weibo's still massively ahead, but LNG have bought some time by denying a Drake, and the objective bounty does help to close the gap somewhat, but still, 4,500 gold lead, pretty significant.
Okay, so the question on everyone's lips, I think, Aux, how are we looking in terms of the scaling, right? With a couple of bounties coming on through, SofM might get caught, actually. Stun will come through shortly once again. There's LvMao there. Kicks him away, though. He'll be fine. And look at the bottom lane. In the meantime, the push coming out from TheShy and from On as a pair. Just hammering away at that tower. The Hullbreaker doing a lot of work on this one, but I don't think they'll quite finish this tower off just yet. Zala able to clear that wave. Now a Herald charge in the mid lane. SofM following it along its charge, trying to get the eye before it went down, but now that bottom lane tower will be finished by TheShy. That's a bunch of gold for him. Again, he is massively ahead in that side lane. And the mid lane tower should be finished off by Huanfeng as well, but perhaps a little nervous to commit to the play. On trying to stay close enough for the local gold, we'll be able to get it.
Yeah, this is the problem, is that in terms of scaling, when it comes to team fights, LNG are fine, right? Kennen serves really well. They have decent front line. Light on the Jinx. Jinx is so incredibly powerful in the late game. Problem is, oh, On might be caught here.
Maybe not, though. Has the quickness still available if he needs it. He is Rakan, and oh, Rakan is just so difficult to catch. She didn't even have to use flash. She didn't have to use ult. That felt like a potential opportunity. And we keep on seeing this. LNG so close to finding picks so often onto SofM and On, but with Lee Sin of Rakan as your arsenal, you can be so cheeky.
100%. And just to dive back to the scaling thing, my concern isn't really like the team fight scaling. If it gets late enough, then I think Jinx, Kennen can serve. I do kind of give the edge to Weibo just because the Orianna is so good in the Rakan. But my real problem is the side lane, right? It doesn't matter if you can beat them out in team fights, because TheShy, he took that tier 2 top. He's taken the tier 2 bottom. It's just hit 20 minutes and he's already taken so many structures off the map. He's so strong. There's not a great answer to him, right? It feels really painful right now. I feel like they're going to have to eventually just send Doinb against him, because he'll at least do a better job than the Kennen, but it is such a difficult sort of thing to deal with. The Hullbreaker is so powerful, and the fact he has the Divine Sundra, has the sustain, good damage in the all-in, and just shreds towers.
Does Light, I feel like, is the pardon the pun, light at the end of the tunnel for LNG. He's the one that can maybe make something happen in these fights. Having the Kraken Slayer already. Ala looking for an all-in onto TheShy. Has a Realm Warp coming as well from the other side, but TheShy might just find a kill. Oh my days, he just flashes underneath the tower, and he goes for the solo death as well, so Doinb gets nothing for the Realm Warp.
Yeah, so they try the play. They bring in the mid laner with the Realm Warp. I like the idea from LNG, but TheShy just so strong. Delete Ala in this situation, and Weibo happy to push up right now. Just a 4v4 on the map, and there aren't really any wards too far behind them. That's the thing you always have to be concerned about when you're against the Kennen. Potential for a flanking ward, but to be honest, with the slicing maelstrom on cooldown, it's not even really a minor concern. But when it comes to team fights, that's where I can see LNG find a lot of momentum, right? If Kennen gets on the back line, that can be the difference maker.
The ulti coming out from Ally, that can be the thing that turns the game around, but that feels like a far cry right now. 50 seconds until Hextech Drake comes up. This time, Weibo, perhaps pull it out of the pit. Perhaps try and play around Light's rocket a little bit, because Light with the miracle steal on that last Drake. At this point, we'd be 35 seconds away from a Hextech solve for Weibo if they'd just been a little more cautious with their play. So Light managing to punish them last time around. I don't expect the same thing to happen again, though.
Yeah, I mean, they really deserve it if they make the same mistake again. I think it's just as easy as pulling it out of the pit and then having someone in position to block it, right? As long as someone can body block it, isn't really too much of a threat. And I still think LNG is just so far behind. It's such a difficult contest at this point of the game, especially as to see TheShy moving down with a pretty much full Gnar bar. I would not want to tango with him right now.
No, certainly not if I was his opponent. But if there was a party going on, I'd consider a tango with TheShy. Put my suit on, put a dicky bow on, you know how it is. Dragon going to be taken down here by Weibo. This will be their third. Light has rocket available, isn't going to pull the trigger. Will just be the third Drake taken now. And that will mean that Weibo finally on that soul point. Doinb looking for a bounty on the top side. Won't even be able to finish this tower, though.
I will say, though, Doinb and Light have been farming up pretty well, right? As much as the fact that Weibo are ahead, they haven't let that affect the CS scores, so still going to scale up and be relevant. Obviously, the tank Ryze doesn't hold up quite as well in the late stages. It really spikes massively in the mid game, but it will eventually get to the point where you can get shredded. But the Jinx, obviously exceptional in the late game. So definitely something they can lean towards. But for now, Weibo, they are starting this up.
Huanfeng just hitting it over the wall. As LNG did test it, they did check, so Weibo realized they can't actually go for the play, but now two people on the bottom side, both solo laners trying to shut down TheShy. Everfrost comes on in. He's about to turn Mega though, perhaps an opportunity as he turns into the Mega form, gets the help. Can he find the ulti? Whiffs it completely. TheShy taken down. The raid boss has been slain, and Weibo cannot find the Baron.
And critically, Weibo don't even get teleports, right? They are so unnerved by the threat that they actually just back away, and you don't even need to commit them. And so that play is repeatable, right? You can just do it again and again until you actually have to teleport up towards the Baron. Good punish coming out from LNG. Now, I don't think he's going to overstay for the tower here, but they managed to shut down TheShy and buy some time. The problem is, 3 minutes 30 until that next dragon. Do I think suddenly LNG are able to fight it in the next 3 minutes 30? Not really. It really comes down to some execution. And on top of that, we've just seen Ole burn his flash on the Kennen. Team fighting with Kennen's flash versus not having the flash is night and day. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for them to find an angle in, especially as when you look at Weibo, everyone has their summoners. The exception is TheShy, but his will be up in time for that dragon.
On getting a ward there, sees Tarzan recalling just as he goes in, so getting some deep vision. 3 minutes on that Drake, as you say, and a huge soul as well, especially for things like aphelios, where you can get a lot of damage at long range that then chains between the enemies. As we're headed towards 3 items for both of our AD carries, Doinb just finishing his 3rd item in that mid lane as well. We're going to see some massive power spikes across the entire scoreboard here, and I'm looking towards Angel as well, because Orianna is one of these champions that I think quite often gets forgotten about in terms of damage numbers. You don't think of Orianna as one of these hyper carries, but ultimately once you get a few items, especially with a Void Staff in there, that shockwave does mega damage.
Yeah, it will really hit, and a good shockwave can be the difference maker. Absolutely. One thing I will say is Doinb, right, 3 items in his tank Ryze. His items are cheaper, so he's been able to farm them up and have 3 completed, which when you compare to Angel, obviously ahead. He is really strong right now, right? Before we get the low Dominix on Huanfeng, it still takes a fair bit of time to cut through him. Well, obviously depends on your weapons, but there's still some hope. It's definitely a hard sell on this next dragon, but I think LNG honestly just have to go for it. They lose the soul, things start to look extremely dire. They don't really have too many wards behind. That's the thing they want to fish for, right? If you get a ward behind, it makes all the difference with a TP flank from that Kennen. They just haven't really been given the window.
Hang on. TheShy has just taken a bot lane inhibitor tower right now. The pressure he is putting on the side lane means they have so much space to just push up in the mid lane as well. Weibo in complete control right now. Ala has to find some kind of flank. We need to see a big Kennen ult. They're going to throw the Pikachu. It's the ultimate combo from the Pokemon trainers. But On is eradicated right off the bat. LNG, 1 pick for themselves. TheShy pushing onto that bot lane inhib. Will take an inhib. It's an inhib for a support. I think Weibo take that.
Yeah, and you can see Weibo heading up towards the Baron area to sweep it out. Don't think they'll commit to it now, but you know, you got 1 kill, and in return you lose your inhib on the bot side.
He gets away. Tarzan chunked out heavily. TheShy going to TP to the rest of his team. They want to start this Baron, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe TheShy was not actually on the same page as his squad right there.
I think you just go for the dragon, right? You don't have the flash from Kennen. Tarzan doesn't have his ultimate available. It won't be up to the fight. No Realm Warp too. Light needs to actually reset fairly quickly. Currently really low on mana, so there's multiple things not going in favor of LNG. And on top of all of that, the 5k go down. So, you know, pretty rough at the moment. That definitely doesn't.
It certainly doesn't help. We got the Scribe's Bloom going to be able to be used by On to clear away some of this vision as well. 20 seconds until the Drake comes on up. We need a miracle for LNG if they're to stay in this series. This soul might just be enough to tip Weibo over the edge and finish things off. SofM playing with fire here, but jumps over to the rest of his team, fighting for vision behind the pit here. Look at Ale. He needs to have a huge flank, needs to have a huge ulti. His flash almost available again. Weibo pulling the dragon out of the pit. Ala on the bottom side of the fray. But Angel knows where he is, and now Weibo just going to start burning through the dragon's health bar. Tarzan needs to find a way in, but his ult is still on cooldown right now. The dragon just going to be burst on through. That's going to be soul for Weibo with barely any contest from LNG. And now Weibo, they can just waltz up to the top half of the map.
They just didn't have the tools. They couldn't find a way in. And I actually really love that control ward in Weibo's blue side jungle right on top of the the Hex Gate. So if Ole did manage to ult behind you, have perfect information on him. Now, they are looking for the TheShy again.
Maybe they can find him. Maybe a constellation prize on the bottom side of the map, but
oh, no.
they won't even be able to get it. Both flashes were used the last time they tried to make this play. And the TheShy just walks up again. He has no fear. 1v2. He just walks on up. He doesn't care. He doesn't have a single care in the world. He's about to turn mega. As Ale forced to use his ult onto the TheShy, but ulted against the wall himself. The TheShy in a 2v1, and he finds himself a solo kill. The TheShy is back. And Weibo Gaming forcing their way through the mid lane here. There is nothing you can do, LNG.
LNG getting crushed, and the fact that the TheShy come 1v2, pushing the wave into the bot lane. LNG have the last defense, but it's looking pretty doomed as it is.
It certainly is. Nexus Tower's being hammered away by Huanfeng. 5 members strong from Weibo as they try and finish things off. LvMao stepping forwards, being the tank for his team. The wave has been cleared. They will survive, at least for now, but a mid lane turret will be taken. A mid lane inhib will be taken as well. There's a wave in this top side. Weibo might just be able to get all 3 inhibs.
Yeah, they don't want to risk it, especially with the Kennen respawning. He's still a while before his ultimate, but just taking all the inhibitors is definitely the safe route. See the TheShy, look how much pressure he has.
He's got ult again. He can go for the Mega Gnar, charge on in, try and make a play. Doesn't have flash though, so difficult to close the gap unless somebody steps too far forwards. He's about to become exhausted once more, halfway on the bar. Ale on the top side for the fight. SofM trying to buy space. There we go. Ult onto Doinb, trying to make the players. Huanfeng cleanses the Everfrost. Weibo, they could just play at arm's length. They don't even have to fight. They've got the cannons doing the work for them. Nexus Towers have fallen, and Ingo Weibo to finish things off. Ala ported to the back of the fight, but he flashes away. He's afraid to go for the play of the century, and it's Weibo taking this one. They want a few kills of Huanfeng at the end of it all, but Weibo are the best team in the LPL. They take first place.
Huge performance coming out of them. LNG definitely fumbled this game, but Weibo there to catch it and absolutely delivered. That man, the TheShy, such a powerful presence in the silent is what we know him for. It's what he got famous for. Just unstoppable. The 1v2 at the end. Absolutely deserved. And a good